the farming minister told a conference of farmers that farming is not high in the pecking order for this government. Given the heartless family farm tax, is his minister correct? Yes or no?
Farming's top of the agenda as far as I'm concerned. That's why we put £5 billion to support farmers in the budget. They failed to spend £300 million on their watch on farming, and we set out our roadmap, which has been welcomed by the NFU, as she very well knows. It was described as long overdue. I wonder who didn't do it before. The ministerial code says that ministers who knowingly mislead the House should resign. Why is he still here?
Chaos erupted in the UK Parliament as MPs voiced their outrage, chanting "Shame, shame" at Keir Starmer. He faced backlash over what many called a blatant lie. The opposition was furious. The Speaker struggled to restore order, and the House of Commons turned into a battlefield of anger as Starmer rushed to defend himself.
The truth is, the country is paying the price of this endless cycle of chaos and distraction. The Tory economic crash means that millions of mortgage holders will pay thousands of pounds more next year. And the blame lies squarely at the door of a government more focused on the internal wars of the Tory party than the needs of the country. Does he not think that those responsible should hang their heads in shame?
So what exactly did he say? That's why we allocated £5 billion for farmers in the budget. They failed to use £300 million meant for farming. We presented our roadmap, which the NFU welcomed, and even called long overdue. I wonder who failed to do it earlier.
But he's suddenly taken such a keen interest in Greek culture, when he's clearly become the man with the reverse Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to, maybe the Home Secretary could help me out here. Rubbish. So will the Prime Minister do the country a favour? We'll have to check the tape again, Mr. Speaker, I think. So will the Prime Minister do the country a favour, warn us what he's planning next, so we can prepare ourselves for the disaster that will inevitably follow?
The facts speak for themselves. The standards went up under Conservative governments. What we need to know is who is benefiting. Mr. Speaker, everyone is asking who is benefiting from these changes. It's not teachers. Their pay is being capped. It's not parents. Their choices are being restricted. It's definitely not children. Their outcomes will get worse. So who is benefiting? It's the trade unions. The National Education Union. The National Education Union sent out a tick list proving that after a decade and a half, they are finally getting their way. Why is the Education Secretary allowing trade unions to run her department and ruin children's education?
What started as a routine debate took a turn. Starmer stood at the dispatch box delivering a confident, well-crafted speech. His tone was firm, his words deliberate. But then he made a claim. To strengthen his argument, there was just one issue. It wasn't true.
Alicia Keys.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister said during Prime Minister's question in answer to the Leader of the Opposition that it was not correct that the current government has postponed the implementation of the Foreign Influence Registration Scheme. Yet on the 14th of August, the government website was updated and a statement was proactively issued by the Home Office stating that the first scheme will no longer expected to come into force in 2024. This is a postponement. So please can you insist the Prime Minister returns to the House to correct the record and make sure that we are not misled?
What I would say to the Honourable Lady, she's been here long enough, and let me at least finish before you start chipping back at me. Can I say, I am grateful for allowing me to have notice of a point of order. But as she well knows, I am not responsible for the accuracy of the Prime Minister's answers in this House. But she has put the point on record, and I am sure that the Treasury bench will have heard her remarks. And let us see where we go from there.
The moment the words left his mouth, murmurs swept through Parliament. MPs exchanged glances, some shaking their heads. Then chaos erupted. Shame. Shame. The chamber exploded with outrage. Starmer, visibly shaken, tried to continue, but the uproar only grew. The Speaker slammed his gavel, struggling to restore order, but the damage was done. But what exactly caused this political firestorm? Sources say Starmer made a claim about Labour's economic policy that directly contradicted his past statements. Opposition MPs pounced, exposing the contradiction. Starmer hesitated, he dodged, deflected, but the pressure was relentless. Just yesterday, the farming minister downplayed agriculture's importance. Asked to clarify, Starmer insisted farming was a top priority. But critics weren't convinced. This wasn't just a slip, it was another example of shifting positions. From Brexit to taxation, NHS funding to crime, Starmer's views have changed depending on the political climate. For a politician, being caught like this is disastrous. Parliament's reaction was brutal, and social media erupted. Hashtags like #StarmerLies and #ShameOnStarmer trended, even among Labour supporters. Public trust in politicians is already fragile. Now, some wonder, is Starmer's leadership at risk? Could rivals seize this moment to challenge him? Labour's internal tensions have been simmering, and this crisis has only worsened them. With talk of investigations and by-elections, Starmer's grip on power looks weaker than ever. So, can he recover? Will Labour stand by him or start looking for alternatives? One thing's clear, this story isn't over. Did Starmer just expose himself as untrustworthy? Was Parliament right to call him out? Or was this just political drama? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe for more updates,